Imagine this. A gleaming, state-of-the-art airport sits mostly quiet, its gates half empty, and its runways underutilized. Meanwhile, just a few hundred kilometers away, another airport is bursting at the seams, with flights packed and runways teeming. The difference? One airport has mastered the art of attracting airlines, while the other hasn't. A select few airports don't need to market themselves. They are global hubs in their own right, with many airlines scrambling for access. But most airports can't just passively wait for airlines to come knocking. They must actively pursue carriers, using a mix of persuasion, financial incentives, and negotiation tactics to convince airlines to add new routes or expand existing ones. Behind every new flight announcement, there's a story of careful planning, strategic lobbying, and sometimes contentious relationships. Airports, particularly those in smaller cities or underutilized hubs, want to attract airlines to fill gaps in their own network coverage. And attracting the right route can bring huge benefits. Imagine you're in charge of a small provincial airport with just a few flights to a few neighboring cities. Your airport's reach is constrained to just these points, and so choices for potential passengers are limited. But what if you could convince an airline to fly to your airport from their hub, which passengers could then connect through? That one flight would unlock a vast array of network options for your local population, exponentially increasing your airport's reach. And a new route doesn't just bring passengers, it boosts the local economy, attracts business investments and increases tourism. For example, when Qatar Airways began flights to Pittsburgh in 2022, it wasn't just a victory for the airline. It was a strategic win for the airport, filling a critical long-haul void and connecting Ohio to the Middle East and beyond. The value of a route isn't limited to the airport concerned. Local hotels, restaurants and tourist sites benefit too. And it's this halo effect that drives some local and even national governments to financially support new route development. Airports analyze market data to identify untapped demand. They look at how many people are driving to nearby airports, connecting through other hubs, or skipping air travel altogether due to inconvenience. Armed with these insights, they pitch airlines by showing clear evidence that a new route has the potential to succeed. Convincing airlines to take a risk on a new route isn't easy, especially in a competitive environment. Sometimes sweeteners are needed, in the form of financial incentives and support packages. Airports often offer these incentives to reduce an airline's initial costs and risks, tipping the scale on the airline's route profitability forecast. Incentives come in a variety of forms, but most common are packages that temporarily reduce fees. This helps because new routes are rarely profitable straight away. They can take months and sometimes even years to break even. Reducing airport costs is one of the easiest methods to implement and involves waiving or discounting fees for a set period, giving the airline a cost break while the route is settling in. Then there's marketing support. Joint promotional campaigns are useful to create a buzz around a new route, often funded by the airport. Think of a new route as a new product. It will need to be marketed and promoted to potential customers who don't know it exists. For instance, when Southwest Airlines launched its first flights to Hawaii, airports in the islands supported the expansion with waived landing fees and co-branded advertising campaigns to drive passenger interest. Airports don't just want to attract new airlines. They want their existing ones to stick around. They want them to grow, to add frequencies and upgrade to bigger aircraft for more seats and passenger options. That's where passenger growth incentives come in. These are bonuses for airlines that achieve specific milestones in passenger numbers, rewarding strong performance. Less common are revenue guarantees. In some cases, if airports or local governments want a route badly enough, they will even go to the extent of promising to cover losses if the route underperforms in its early stages. These are rare as the financial liability to cover losses can become huge, but are attractive for airlines that want to completely de-risk a new route. During economic slowdowns, they are welcomed, but airlines will dispense with them as other route options become available, which are more profitable in their own right. From an airline's perspective, new routes are major investments. They require aircraft allocation, crew scheduling, and marketing efforts. Even a promising route involves significant upfront risk, and a poorly performing route can drain resources. That's why financial incentives are so appealing. They reduce risk and offer a safety net during the critical early months of operation. Airlines also value strategic partnerships with airports that align with their own network goals. For example, low-cost carriers like Ryanair prioritize airports willing to provide low fees and fast turnaround times. In contrast, when a premium carrier like Emirates looks for a new destination, it needs modern facilities, good slots to facilitate connections in Dubai, and a strong local economy to attract high-yield passengers. Despite their mutual dependence, the relationship between airports and airlines can sometimes turn contentious. Airports want to maximize revenue by attracting as many flights and passengers as possible, while charging airlines as much as they can. Airlines, though, will push for reduced fees and more incentives, especially at congested or high-demand airports. One famous example of this tension is Ryanair's very public disputes with various European airports over fees. Ryanair has pulled out of airports like Copenhagen and Frankfurt-Hahn when it felt the terms were no longer favourable, illustrating how fragile these partnerships can be. Similarly, Delta Airlines and Seattle Airport have had disagreements over gate allocation and expansion plans. Delta's rapid growth in Seattle created friction over whether the airport's infrastructure could keep up, leading to public criticism from both sides. But when airports and airlines collaborate effectively, the results can be transformative. Take Iceland's Keflavik Airport, which worked closely with Icelandair to position itself as a transatlantic hub. By offering incentives and aligning marketing efforts, the airport helped Icelandair grow its network, making Iceland a convenient connection point between Europe and North America. On the other side of the spectrum, Denver Airport has aggressively pursued international carriers to expand its global reach. Through targeted incentives and direct engagement, Denver convinced United Airlines to launch flights to Tokyo, and it convinced Lufthansa to increase frequencies to Frankfurt. These routes have helped solidify Denver as a key US gateway for international travel. As competition among airports intensifies, the strategies for attracting airlines are evolving. Digital tools and big data are helping airports make more compelling cases for new routes, analyzing granular details about passenger demand, revenue potential, and operational costs. At the same time, sustainability is becoming a key factor in negotiations. Airports are investing in green infrastructure and incentivizing airlines to use more fuel-efficient aircraft, aligning their goals with broader environmental concerns. Ultimately, the delicate dance between airports and airlines will continue, with both sides seeking to maximize their own benefits while fostering partnerships that drive growth. The next time you hear about a new flight from your local airport, remember, it's not just a convenient option for travelers. It's the result of months or even years of careful strategy, negotiation, and collaboration. And sometimes a little bit of drama too. Figuring out which routes to fly is a complex undertaking that will make or break an airline. Learn more about how routes are chosen by clicking here. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.